Problems are the mountains spoken of that can be removed if one has but the faith of a grain of a mustard seed. Men approached their problem as did the old lady who, on attending service and hearing the priest say, "If you had but the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, you would say unto yonder mountain, Be thou removed, and it shall be removed, and nothing is impossible to you." That night, as she said her prayer, she quoted this part of the scriptures and retired to bed in what she thought was faith. On arising in the morning, she rushed to the window and exclaimed, "For this is how man approaches his problem. He knows that they are still going to confront him. And because life is no respect of persons and destroys nothing, it continues to keep alive that which he is conscious of being. Things will appear only as man changes in consciousness. Denied, if you will, it still remains the fact that consciousness is the only reality and things will mirror that which you are in consciousness. So the heavenly state you are seeking will be found only in consciousness, for the kingdom of heaven is within you. As the will of heaven is ever done on earth, you are today living in the heaven that you have established within you. For here on this very earth, your heaven reveals itself. The kingdom of heaven really is at hand. Now is the accepted time. So create a new heaven, enter into a new state of consciousness, and a new earth will appear. The former things shall pass away. They shall not be remembered nor come into mind anymore. For behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. I am nameless, but will take upon myself every name, nature that you call me. Remember, it is you, yourself, that I speak of as me. So every conception that you have of yourself, that is every deep conviction you have of yourself, is that which you shall appear as being. For I am not fooled. God is not mocked. Now let me instruct you in the art of fishing. It is recorded that the disciples fished all night and caught nothing. Then Jesus came upon the scene and told them to cast their nets in once more into the same waters that only a moment before were barren, and this time their nets were bursting with the catch. This story is taking place in the world today right within you, the reader. For you have within you all the elements necessary to go fishing. But until you find that Jesus Christ, your awareness is Lord, you will fish as did these disciples in the night of human darkness. That is, you will fish for things, thinking things to be real, and will fish with the human bait, which is a struggle and an effort, trying to make contact with this one and that one, trying to coerce this being or the other being, and all such effort will be in vain. But when you discover your awareness of being to be Christ, Jesus, you will let him direct your fishing, and you will fish in consciousness for the things that you desire. For your desire will be the fish that you will catch, because your consciousness is the only living reality you will fish in the deep waters of consciousness. If you would catch that which is beyond your present capacity, you must launch out into deeper waters, for within your present consciousness, such fish or desires cannot swim. To launch out into deeper waters, you leave behind you all that is now your present problem or limitation by taking your attention away from it. Turn your back completely upon every problem and limitation that you now possess. Dwell upon just being by saying, I am to yourself. Continue to declare to yourself that you just are. Do not condition this declaration. Just continue to feel yourself to be, and without warning, you will find yourself slipping the anchor that tied you to the shallow of your problems and moving out into the deep. This is usually accompanied with a feeling of expansion. You will feel yourself expand as though you were actually growing. Don't be afraid, for courage is necessary. You are not going to die to anything by your former limitations, but they are going to die as you move away from them, for they live only in your consciousness. In this deep or extended consciousness, you will find yourself to be a power that you had never dreamt of before. The things desired before you shoved off from the shores of limitation are the fish you are going to catch in this deep. Because you have lost all consciousness of your problems and barriers, it is now the easiest thing in the world to feel yourself to be one with the things desired. Because I am your consciousness is the resurrection of the life, you must attain this resurrection power that you are to the thing desired if you would make it appear and live in your world. Now you begin to assume the nature of the thing desired by feeling, I am wealthy, I am free, I am strong. When these feels are fixed within yourself, your formless being will take upon itself the forms of the things felt. You become crucified upon the feelings of wealth, freedom, and strength. Remain buried in the stillness of these convictions. Then, as a thief in the night, and when you least expect it, these qualities will be resurrected in your world as living realities. The world shall touch you and see that you are flesh and blood, for you shall begin to bear fruit of the nature of these qualities newly appropriated. This is the art of successful fishing for the manifestations of life. Successful realization of the thing desired is also told us in the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Here it is recorded that Daniel, while in the lion's den, turned his back upon the lions and looked toward the light coming from above, that the lions remained powerless, and Daniel's faith in his God saved him. This also is your story, and you too must do as Daniel did. If you found yourself in the lion's den, you would have no other concern but lions. You would not be thinking of one thing in the world but your problem, which problem would be lions. Yet you are told that Daniel turned his back upon them and looked toward the light that was his God. If we would follow the example of Daniel, we would, while imprisoned within a den of poverty or sickness, take our attention away from our problems of debts or sickness and dwell upon the thing we seek. If we do not look back in consciousness to our problems, but continue in faith, believing ourselves to be that which we seek, we too will find our prison walls open and the things sought. Yes, whatsoever things realized. Although another story is told us of the widow and the 3 drops of oil, the prophet asked the widow, "What have ye in your house?" And she replied, 3 drops of oil. He then said to her, "Go borrow vessels. Close the door after ye have returned into your house and begin to pour." And she poured from 3 drops of oil into all the borrowed vessels, filling them to capacity with oil remaining. You, the reader at this widow, you have not a husband to impregnate you or make you fruitful, for a widow is a barren state. Your awareness is now the Lord, the prophet that has become your husband. Follow the example of the widow, who instead of recognizing an emptiness or nothingness, recognized as something 3 drops of oil. Then they command to her, "Go within and close the door." That is, shut the door of the senses that tell you of the empty measures, the depths, the problems. When you have taken your attention away completely by shutting out the evidence of these senses, begin to feel the joy of having received the things desired. When the agreement is established within you so that all doubts and fears have passed away, then you too will fill all the empty measures of your life and will have an abundance running over. Recognition is the power that conjures in the world. Every state that you have ever recognized, you have embodied. That which you are recognizing as true of yourself today is that which you are experiencing. So be as a widow and rejoice. Recognize joy, no matter how little the beginnings of recognition, and you will be generously rewarded. For the world is a magnified mirror, magnifying everything that you are conscious of being. I am the Lord, the God which has brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the land of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. What a glorious revelation by your awareness now revealed as the Lord thy God. Come, awake from your dream of being imprisoned. Realize that the earth is yours, and the fullness thereof, the world and all that dwells therein. Ye have become so enmeshed in the belief that you are man, that you have forgotten the glorious being that you are. Now with your memory restored, decree the unseen to appear, and it shall appear, for all things are compelled to respond to the voice of God. Your awareness of being, the world, is at your command.